Hey y'all, welcome back. I know I've been MIA, but your girl was baking, okay? There was a baby. The baby has finally arrived, so congratulations to me. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, then you don't have that update. But yes, baby Trinity has arrived, and I'm here to share with you guys my labor and delivery story. So we're just gonna get straight to it. So for those that don't know, I do have 3 children now. I just had my daughter literally a month ago. But my other 2 children, I had them, all of my children, I've had them natural. That means no epidural, no medications, just completely natural. As for my first 2 children, bless and favor, I had them in the hospital, but I still had them natural, no medications. As far as my daughter Trinity, I just had her a month ago. I had her natural, but I had her in my home, and I did a water birth. So let's just get into it. Let's get into the details, the story. I know you guys want to know how it was, so I'm gonna tell you. So it was like 4 in the morning, and I woke up because I was having contractions. So basically, the contractions woke me up out my sleep at 4 in the morning. Like, okay, I'm having contractions, and I just felt like at that point that they were Braxton Hicks, because I've had them before. Like, I've had contractions wake me up out my sleep before, so I wasn't tripping about it. And it also wasn't like, they weren't excruciating pain. They were very bearable. They're very light. It just felt like, period cramps. Something very light. So I just went back to sleep. I was just like, I'm not staying up for this. I'm going to sleep. I'm tired. And I really had insomnia anyway, so it was really hard for me to go to sleep anyway. So the fact that I was able to sleep that night, I was like, honey, I'm going back to sleep. So that's what I did. I went back to sleep, woke up, and I thought that they were going to be gone, because that's what happened before. Like, before, I've had contractions wake me up in the middle of the night out my sleep, and then I wake up and they were gone. This time they were not gone. And when I woke up, they actually felt a lot worse than they did at 4 in the morning. So I'm like, what's going on here? Like, are these real contractions? Like, what's happening? So I let like an hour go by or 2, and then I'm like, okay, these contractions are getting stronger. So then I start to time them, and I realized that they were...
What you doing?
I'm doing a video.
Why?
I'm going on YouTube. What you mean?
What you doing? What kind of video you doing? You tell me.
Labor and delivery.
Ooh.
Okay. You want to eat before you go?
Ain't right time.
Okay, so I started to time the contractions because I'm like, these contractions are getting stronger and they're still here. It's been like a long time has passed by. So I started to time them, and they were like fluctuating between 4 and 6 minutes apart. So like sometimes they'll be 4 minutes apart, then they'll be 6 minutes apart, but they just kept going back and forth. So it wasn't like a steady time. You okay, mama? You okay? Oh yeah, I gotta burp her. So I have this like burping trick where you don't pat her back, you rub up, and it's supposed to get the burp out. So I'm gonna keep rubbing, get this burp out. Alright, so tracking the contractions, and they were fluctuating before 4 and 6 minutes apart. So I was like, let me text my midwife. So I texted her and let her know that I was let her know like the whole spill. Like, I've been having contractions since 4 in the morning. They're still gone. This is the time frame, blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, well, I'm gonna come. So she came, and originally in my head, I was like, I think when she gets here, I want her to check me to see if I've dilated. But then when she got here, I was like, no, I'm scared. I don't want to be checked. So I didn't let her check me. She just, took my vitals and made sure, everything was just okay. We listened to baby and just made sure that, like, I was fine. And she was like, I'm going to go home, and I want you to continue to track your contractions, like time the contractions. And if they get longer, like if the pain gets longer or more intense or the time gets shorter, then let me know. So I was like, okay. And I just told her I was going to try to go to sleep. So, yeah, so then she ended up hitting me back. Like maybe like, I would say like an hour went by. And she was like, you know what, Nadia, I think I'm just going to come back. Because based off the history with your last two children, like you pretty much went into labor really, really fast. Like you don't really labor that long. So she was like, since this is your third child, you probably won't labor that long again. So I'm just gonna come back because she was like, I don't want to be home and then you tell me you feel like you're going into labor and then I miss it. So I'm like, okay. So she ended up coming back and I just laid in bed. I was in bed the whole time, y'all. I just laid in bed and the contractions were just getting worse. Like as the hours went by, the contractions got worse. Okay? So I was like, y'all, this is really happening. Like I'm really about to go into labor. So the midwife ended up coming. I stayed in bed the whole time and I was just laying in bed, like just dealing with the pain. And it was just getting worse. It just kept getting worse. The pain was just getting worse. It was getting worse. So what happened was Seth ended up staying in the bed with me, and I just had him hold my hand the whole time. My coping mechanism was me just squeezing his hand when I felt the pain. So I would squeeze his hand, but I would also like recite different like positive affirmations to myself so I could stay calm and in control of the situation. So that's what I kept doing until my midwife checked me. I was like, okay, I'm ready for you to check me because I just felt like, you know, I'm definitely going into labor and I can definitely feel it and the contractions are getting worse. So I was like, you know, she could check me now. So she went up, you know, up in my little girly area and she checked to see if I dilated and she was like, girl, you are at least, she was like, you're at least 4 to 5 centimeters dilated. So I'm like, okay, well, we definitely in labor. Like, we definitely having this baby today. Because if you're 4 centimeters dilated and you go to the hospital, they're keeping you because they consider that active labor. So at this point, this is active labor. So then, like, another hour went by, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for you to check me again because these cramps are getting worse. Like, the contractions are getting worse. I was like, can you check me again? She checked me again, and she was like, you are at least 5 to 6 centimeters. So I'm like, okay, well, we're moving, you know, this is happening. Next thing you know, I'm going to be 10. Like once you hit 6, it's kind of over. It's like, I'm about to be 10 centimeters in no time. So, by the time, at that point, mind you, I told you guys the whole time Seth was upstairs with me and I was holding his hand and I was able to squeeze his hand. This time when I hit that 6 centimeter mark, my midwife told Seth to go downstairs and like start to fill a pool up because she's like, she's going to have this baby in like the next couple hours. So we need to make sure that the pool is filled up. So Seth went down to fill the pool up and I asked my midwife to stay upstairs with me in bed so I can hold her hand. But I wasn't squeezing her hand like I was squeezing Seth's. Like I was squeezing his hand so hard, like with all my power. But her, I didn't even squeeze her hand at all because she's a woman and I just didn't want to put that kind of pressure or pain on her. So I just was just using her hand I was just rubbing her hand. But I don't know, this just helped me. Like this is just like a coping mechanism that really helped me. I was also whistling. I did this with Bless and Favor as well. Like when I breathe, like when I breathe through the contractions, and as I'm breathing through the contractions, the way that I'm breathing is causing me to whistle. So it's like I was whistling for hours. It was crazy. But these are my coping mechanisms. Anyway, Seth was filling up the pool, and literally by the time he got done filling up the pool, my water broke. And I was literally on the bed, I remember it, and I was having a contraction. And the contraction was just going so long. I was waiting for it to stop. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this is the longest contraction. What the fuck? It just kept going. And eventually, it just, and I went into complete panic mode, y'all. Like, I literally immediately just went into, like, I just had a lot of anxiety And I got really, really scared. Like, in my head, I just got really, really scared. And I feel like it was like anxiety because, number one, my water never broke before. If you guys watch any of my labor and delivery videos, they had to go in and break my water when I was at 10 centimeters. This time my water broke. So that was the first time. That was like my first time ever. Hold on. Hey, mama. Hey, here you go. Alright, so that was like my first time ever experiencing my water breaking. So yeah, I just went in shocked, and I immediately got a lot of anxiety, and I was just like freaking out. Like I'm not gonna say, like, I wasn't freaking out like on the outside. It was more so on the inside. I was freaking out. Like, I don't know, I just got really, really scared because it never happened before, and I never experienced it. It shocked me. It scared me. I didn't even know what happened at first. I was like, what? Like, it just was a lot at once. I didn't know what to do. I was just like, and then at that moment, I just screamed out to my midwife. I was just like, please help me. Because at that point, I felt like, I don't even want to say this. I'm not even going to say that. But at that point, it was just excruciating pain. I felt the baby like weighing down on my uterus. Like, I felt all the pressure. Like, she wanted to come out, and I could just feel all the pressure. It was so heavy. Like, my uterus was just so heavy, and it was just excruciating pain. It was very, very painful. So at that point, my midwife yelled for Sid. He ran up the steps. She told him like her water just broke. So So Sid like tried to pick me up so that he could bring me, because I'm upstairs in the bed. So he tried to pick me up so he could take me downstairs, and I just started screaming like, no, that it hurts. So like basically while he was picking me up, I was having a contraction. So it just, all the pain just went, like when he picked me up, like he picked me up and held me like this. So all the pain just went to my back, and it just hurt so bad. So I just started yelling like, no, this hurts. Please put me down. Please put me down. So he put me down, and basically I had to wait until the contraction passed. And then I only had like a couple seconds to hurry up and run down the stairs and jump in the pool. So that's what I did. We literally waited for the contraction to stop. I literally had like, the midwife had like some, I don't even know what they are, but some type of cloth protecting my vagina, and I just had to like hold my vagina with the cloth so that I don't drip any fluids or the baby don't come out or nothing. So I'm just holding my vagina. I ran down the steps, jumped into the pool. By the time I jumped into the pool, the baby was here in like 3 minutes. And I literally, first of all, when I got in the pool, I was losing my mind in the pool too, because I just felt like I didn't know what to do. Like in the hospital, the doctors are coaching you through pushing. They literally have a monitor on you, and they're able to monitor you, the baby. They're able to monitor your contractions, and like, if you ever had a baby, then you know this. You know that you're supposed to push when you're having a contraction. Well, this time, like, my contractions weren't being monitored, so it's like I had to know when to push. But it was really hard to know when to push, or even know when I'm having a contraction, because the baby was literally right there trying to come out. So in my head, I just want to push and get the baby out. But you're supposed to push each time you have a contraction. So basically, I just felt like I couldn't feel myself having contractions anymore because I was already in so much pain. Everything just hurt. So it was like, I don't know when the contractions are happening because everything hurts right now. So that's what was making me freak out even more when I got in the water, because I was like, I don't know what to do. And that's what I said to my midwife. I was like, can you help me? I don't know what to do. And she was like, just listen to your body. Like, whatever your body is telling you to do, that's what you need to do. And so it was like, yeah, that's the best advice. And I just feel like because I was having so much anxiety and I was just so worked up and so scared, that I wasn't even in a space to listen to my body, because at that point it was so much pain that I just wanted to get the baby out. So the environment was very peaceful. The ambiance was very peaceful. You know, the set had, you know, a really beautiful, like, magenta light on, or some type of light on. And all the lights were off, but like the LED light was on. It was soft meditation music playing. Like, all the vibes were set. Like, the way that I wanted it to be was exactly how it should have been, and exactly how I wanted it to be. But in my mind, I was losing my mind. Like, I was literally losing my mind, and it was so hard for me to stay calm or be at peace in my mind, because I was just scared. And really just in shock. And it was just a lot of, and I don't want to say I'm scared, like, oh, I'm scared to have a baby. No, more so like, it was just anxiety, like, oh, my water just broke. Oh, this is really happening. Oh, I'm really about to have this baby. Like, it was just so many things flowing through my mind. Like, oh, I'm really in this pool at home. Like, what are you doing? It was just a lot going through my mind. So it was like, I had to keep trying to talk to myself to calm myself down. So eventually I did. And what happened is at first I was pushing, because in my mind I was just like, Nadir, just get the fucking baby out. Just get it out. So I kept pushing, and then my midwife was like, you gotta calm down. My midwife said, slow down. And when she said slow down, that just hit in my mind. I was like, oh my God, Nadir, you really need to slow down. Like, you really need to take your time. So what was happening was, I was just pushing, and I wasn't taking any breaks. And that's what you're supposed to do. That's why you're supposed to wait until you have a contraction to push the baby out. Because I could have caused I could have tore like crazy. Like, there's so many things could have went wrong for me just pushing like fast like that. So once she said slow down, I literally just like took a breath, and I was talking to myself, and I was like, Nadir, you have to slow down, or this is not going to go how you want it to go. So I started to slow down, and I started to take breaks between me pushing, and eventually the baby just came out. Like, the midwife was just guiding me. She was like, we're crowning. Okay, now here's the, what'd she say? She said, here's the ring of fire. The ring of fire is coming. And like, the baby just came out. Now let me tell y'all a really crazy part about this whole story, is that I did not bleed. Yeah, I did not bleed having that baby. I thought that the water would be filled with blood. That's what I expected to see. I did not bleed. So my midwife was like, this is so strange. Like, out of all the babies I've ever delivered, I've never seen someone not bleed. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Like, what is going on? Why am I not bleeding? So she was like, well, there could be two things. Number one, the worst thing could be that you're bleeding internally, but we're going to sit and monitor you to make sure that you're not. And the second thing is your body just doesn't want to bleed. Like, you're just not bleeding, and that's okay. This is just how it's gonna go. Like, it's not that it's impossible, because it's happening. So it's very possible. So afterwards, so I had the baby. That's the story. That's how the baby came. And then I'm in my guest room right now. So we end up setting up in the guest room, because I end up having the baby in the kitchen, and they didn't want me walking up the steps after having a baby. That's just too much. So immediately they had everything set up in the guest room. I came, laid on the guest room bed. She was able to push on my belly and get blood out. So blood did come out once she started to push on my belly, but it still wasn't like a massive amount of blood. Then I was able to do skin to skin with baby, and we did that for like an hour, because I did I believe it's called delayed clamping, where basically we just kept the umbilical cord attached. So basically we waited until an hour before we cut the umbilical cord. So yeah, so the baby was just attached the whole time, and I was able to do skin to skin for an hour. And after we did skin to skin for an hour, then my midwife was able to take baby and do the physical, how they just make sure the baby's okay and measure and do all the stuff that they do in the hospital. She was able to do that after an hour. Instead, cut the umbilical cord, and while my midwife was doing everything that she wanted to do with baby, said came and brought me some food, so I was able to sit and eat and just sit and relax. How did I feel, y'all? My vagina was on fire. From the moment I pushed the baby out, my vagina was on fire. The minute they handed me my child, in that moment, my vagina was in so much pain, I didn't even acknowledge her within the first couple of seconds, because I was just out of it. Like, my vagina hurt so bad. Like, it felt like somebody took a match and lit it on fire, and it was just on fire. That's how it felt. So me laying there, my vagina was just on fire. I didn't tear, like, my vagina didn't tear, well, like, the inside didn't tear, but there was like a tear on the side. I don't even know how to explain this, but it wasn't like the inside, like where the baby comes out. It didn't tear there. It teared in another place. So my midwife was like, you don't even need stitches. This is literally going to heal in like 2 days. And it literally healed in like 4 days. So I did have to use like that little spray bottle cup, and I had to squeeze it on my vagina, the water on my vagina, like every time I used the bathroom for like 4 days, and then it healed. So it burned for like 4 days for me to pee, and then it healed. But yeah, other than that, my vagina was on fire. It took at least 3 days for my vagina not to hurt anymore. And then I would say it took at least 2 weeks for my pelvic floor not to hurt. So basically, like, it hurt when I tried to bend down and pick something up off the floor. If I tried to like put lotion on my feet, if anything, just any type of movement, like moving downwards, I was in excruciating pain. So I just like refrained from doing that stuff. But yeah, this experience was definitely different from my others, of course, because I had the baby at home in a pool. Would I do it again? Definitely. I really enjoyed the fact that I was just able to be in the comfort of my own home. I really enjoyed the after having the baby, because I was able to sleep, and I didn't have like 1,000,001 nurses coming in to see me every hour, 30 minutes, whatever they do. But that shit is exhausting. I was glad I didn't have to do that, and I literally got the best sleep of my life, like after having my baby. It was just beautiful. So yeah, the experience was definitely different. It was very peaceful, but it was painful. I ain't gonna lie. It was peaceful, but it was painful. I would say, out of all of my experiences, this had to be the most painful, unfortunately. And I don't know if it's because I'm older, maybe, because the last time I had a child was 4 years ago. Favor is 4. So it could be because I'm a lot older. It could be because I was pushing too fast. Or it could be just because that's just what it is. I don't know. Alright, but that wraps up this video. If you guys have any questions, comment below. If you feel like I missed something, comment below. Let's talk about it. Other than that, my next video, hopefully I will be updating you guys on baby Trinity, and maybe I can introduce her to you guys. But thank you guys so much for all your love and support. I see all of your comments throughout my pregnancy for the videos that I did post, and all the positivity that I've received from you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you for pouring into me. And I'll talk to you guys in the comment section.
No, I'm really just